Yes, welcome back. This is God's on goal, and yeah, another disappointing, disappointing result. Brentford one, Arsenal one. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Uh, yeah, let's. There's a lot to say about the game. I think we deserved to lose against Brentford. They played very well, and the amount of set pieces they were putting in our boxes and the way they were doing their long throw-ins, every time it was just dangerous, dangerous. And we had an opportunity to maintain the gap at 6 points since Man City won last night versus Fulham. And I think I've seen this before so many times. That is why majority of the rivals, not including Man City fans, but majority of fans, fans, know that when it comes to this point in the season, this is where Arsenal basically drops points. But to be fair, to be very fair to Brentford, I'm not saying that we were bad and they were good, but to be fair to Brentford, wherever they are in the league, I think they deserve to be there. They didn't give us much space. The man of the match for our team, I can only name three players. That was Declan Rice, Gabriel, and Mosquera. Mosquera did a nice tackle on Igo Thiago, who was through on goal, and we were almost losing. And Madueke scored finally, finally scored a good goal, a header. And at that point, we were looking good, we were cruising, and we just needed to add another goal because we saw Brentford. Brentford almost scored in the first half, so we knew that that one goal wasn't enough. But I don't know what really happens with Arteta and the team. Once we score a goal, if it's not a set piece, for example, once we score an open play goal, I don't know what happens, and we just sit back, invite pressure. We don't even do well on counters to begin with. So I don't say that we are waiting for a counter to do a counter attack. We just try and defend, defend that one goal, make the game slow, make the game cagey, and maybe nick in another second goal. But let me just talk about the players. For example, Trossard didn't play particularly well, to be very honest. Wasn't really even a goal threat across the minutes that he played, maybe the 70, 80 minutes. Wasn't good enough. Gyökeres, first half, he had some good touches here and there, but he didn't have a shot. I don't understand why we have a striker whom we don't even encourage to take shots. Like, what is the purpose of having the striker if he's not taking shots on goal? But I understand that he's not always playing in the box, he's always playing across the wings where we're expecting our wingers to be. Madueke played very well. He defended well, tried to create chances. He got a very, very good goal. And once he was subbed off, our threat just died. Threat just died with him. As a He's been on and off continuously. He hasn't gotten a run of games. Today he was starting. This was a game that not necessarily that it suited him, but it was a game that he could actually impose himself. But he went missing the whole game, the whole first half, and he was hooked for Odegaard, whom I have reservations for. And still, when Odegaard came, he was good for like 10 minutes, and after that, he did nothing. He was also at fault at the Brentford goal that they scored. Should have defended better. He was at fault. Who else? Declan Rice, perfect game. He saved us so many times. At some point, he should have had a shot on goal, um, but he didn't. So that's that. Zubimendi was just Zubimendi, just running around. Didn't see any of his impact, but he played particularly well. Timber wasn't good, not necessarily defensively, But going forward, he wasn't really good. He wasn't playing well going forward. Saliba, not Saliba was missing for the game actually, so we had he was facing some illness. So let's just hope that he will be back in the next game. Mosquera replaced him. Mosquera, I think he didn't put a foot wrong the whole game. He did some wonderful tackles. He was good in the air. He defended Igo Thiago well, apart from a few instances where he was left behind. I can't really say he'd had a bad game. Gabriel, once he got a yellow card early in the game, he was very lucky. He was very fortunate not being sent off later in the game. Very fortunate. But he put in a very good performance in the absence of Saliba. Hinkapi, um, very well, very good defensively. He assisted the goal. Offensively, he was also putting in those crosses. He was trying. He's been trying to put those crosses to the box for almost 3 months now, and finally it got to someone. So he was hooked off. Um, yeah, David Raya saved us so many times. Had a very good game. He couldn't have done anything for the goal they scored, but he had a very good game. He did what he was supposed to do, and that was fair play for him. For the subs, Calafiori didn't do nothing. Martinelli missed a 1v1. Odegaard didn't do nothing as usual. We always tend to drop points. I've read a stat somewhere that Odegaard, when you're playing with Odegaard in the team, we tend to drop points, especially this season. We've dropped points like in 6 or 7 games where he has played, whether it's from injury or whether he is starting. We've dropped points in games that he's been there. And as it stands and the way it's going, even if we win the league, even if it will be even worse if we don't win the league, even if we win the league, I don't think Odegaard has any future. The project looks like it's flying away from him. Doesn't look like the, yes, of course, he looks like the system, but however the team has evolved, the performances that a player like Declan Rice is putting up week in, week out, that is exactly what I'm expecting from my captain. And he doesn't give me that, or doesn't give anyone. So I don't understand why he plays. But I understand today because Eze had the chance to play and he wasn't imposing himself for the game. I think he had like 10 touches in the first half, maybe like one through ball, and that was it. Martinelli should have scored with his left foot, but I don't know why he took a touch, because when you get to the box and the ball is moving fast, most strikers, if we or wingers, take the first shot with their, whether their weak foot or their stronger foot. Him taking the touch, he could have tried maybe to chip the goalkeeper, but Gallagher made a decent save. Decent save. I take this as a 1 point gained. These aren't really like 2 points drop. This is a like 1 point gained, because the way I'm feeling, this draw is like a loss. And even if we had lost this game, I would have felt the same, because we hadn't really put in performances that warranted us to get the 3 points. So we're going to be facing Wolves next week, and I saw some highlights of the game versus Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest had about 30 shots and about 8 or 9 on target, and didn't score, and they managed to fire their coach. So it won't be an easy game. And you remember the previous game that we played with them? We relied on 2 own goals to actually win the game. We didn't score a single goal in the game. Then the game ended 2-1, but none of our players scored. We got the 3 points, yes. So we know that going to Wolves at the Molineux, as much as they feel, or rather they look like they have already accepted their fate to be relegated, they will not go down with a whimper. So that is the game, and we'll have now a game in hand, because we tend to have, Man City tend to have game in hands when they are chasing the title all the fucking time. I don't know how that works, but it tends to happen. greatly disappointed with today. Um, on paper, we looked like we were going to win, but looking at injuries like Kai Havertz, who's going to miss about 3 or 4 games, Odegaard and Saka coming back from injuries, Gyökeres, I don't know about Gyökeres. I still don't understand why we play him so much. Today is like the first time I think in like 3 or 4 months that he has played 90 minutes. And this was one of those games where I expected Arteta to try and get him off the team. Maybe sub him off and bring Jesus. I think maybe Jesus could have done something. I don't know. Saka did absolutely nothing when he came on, by the way. He did absolutely nothing. I don't know why he came on. He just running around, falling over, and that's it. Saka did absolutely nothing in that game when he came on. He should have left Madueke in the team for some more minutes, I guess, and bring maybe Saka in the 80th minute when maybe if we had still led 1-0. But the moment we scored for like 10 minutes or so, we never played really well, and they equalized and they looked like they're going to win the game. And these are the set pieces that rival fans think we play because they crowd the keeper, they bring the ball right on the box where the keeper is, where the most players are. There's a lot that happens. I mean, there's a lot that happens in their set pieces, but they are really good. Today we didn't really get so many corners because we weren't really having possession as much as it was almost like 60%, but it was mostly on our halfway line. Yes, now we are 4 points clear of Man City, and Man City game looks easier on paper. Of course, now we'll be having a game more on them, but it won't matter because if you don't win against Wolves, then that gap doesn't really matter. We have to maintain this 4 point gap until we meet them at the Etihad. I don't, like I always say, I don't expect Man City to draw points. I expect them to win, if not all, most of their games. Every game that I watch at Man City, they look like they're going to win. And even the signings that they did in January, a player like Semenyo, player like Guehi, they still have Marmoush on the bench. They still have Doku, who is injured at the moment. They have Savinho, who is also injured. They have Haaland, and Haaland is Haaland. Bernardo Silva is back at scoring. When you look at that team, they look like, they're going to go all the way. And that is what I expect from them. The same thing I expect from my team. We have to go all the way. And as with this 4 point gap looks, we have to go to Wembley next month versus Man City, and we have to go there and win. Now, as the days are getting closer to Wembley, that games looks more and more important to win that cup, because in my opinion, if we do not win the Carabao Cup, I can as well say bye bye to the league, depending on where we are. But we've been here before. I mean, we've been here before so many times for like 3 seasons now. This is the fourth season that we're up there, and Man City is chasing us, and the gap isn't as wide as we expected. Because if we won against Nottingham Forest a few weeks ago, the gap would have been 9 points, and that would be okay. Even if we lost, like today, for example, the gap would have been 6 points. That's still a healthy lead. But we fucked around and we found out. Now City are chasing us, and they look geared up to go. And the way what they did at Anfield, of course, Liverpool are bad at the moment, but what they did at Anfield is more than enough to show me that they are not going anywhere. They are not going to stop. They are relentless at this point. Maybe I don't know whether they can go on those winning runs because normally they perform well in the first half and then the second half they just drop off. I don't know how well they'll go, but from my perspective, we have so many passengers in our team. We have so many players that, especially in the front in the attacking areas that don't really, add much, if any, value to our team at this point. We should have signed Semenyo, for example. If we had Semenyo in that team right now, yes, we had known that our left wing would have been, sorted for a couple of years. But depending on Martinelli and Trossard, who have been, hmm, let me see, something is happening with my camera. Yeah, we're back. Yes, I even lost my train of thought, but that's just about it. Yes, 4 points clear. We move. Um, I'll take that 1 point because we looked like we are going to lose it. Then I'll just take the 1 point. When we go to Wolves next week, or I think it is on Wednesday, we're going to take the 3 points. We have to take those 3 points now. Let the gap be 7 points and the game in hand. Let it stay that way until we meet Man City. Let the gap remain more than 4 points at this, where we are bent. I think for the next 2 or 3 games, Man City will be playing before us. So they are the ones who are going to be putting pressure on us. So if they play fast, we play. And who knows the next game that you're going to be playing after after playing Wolves? We have Tottenham Hotspur in the weekend. They don't have a coach, they fired their coach, so they are expecting a new manager bounce at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So that is not going to be an easy game, of course, with a new coach. As much as they have all their problems, this is a derby that they will actually try and turn up and try to stop us, from going ahead and trying to win the league. They would love to do that. So that is also not an easy game. We have Wigan on the weekend, the FA Cup. So of course we'll have a match reaction to that and waiting to see other teams how they'll perform. So yes, a lot to talk about. The emotions currently are very high, but I've managed to calm this far and talk about my team. So yeah, it's gone. Yeah, we are going to see how the season goes, but yeah, it's not looking good either way. If this is the current trend you're going to be maintaining till the end of the season, and I am very okay if we don't win the league. Sack Arteta. If some players want to leave, I'd really understand them because I don't want to finish second again. I do not want to finish second again. Second again for the fourth time in a row, and watching Man City win the league again for the third time in our four straight second finish. I can't. Let the game just stop because I can't. I cannot take this. I'm not willing to take this in the chin or any point in my life. So yes, remember this is Goats on Goal. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next episode on I think that is on Sunday after the FA Cup. Hope we win and go to the next round at least. Because with the FA Cup now, I'm just waiting till the next round, until now when we are reaching the quarters to the semis. It would be interesting to see where we are up to that point. But yeah, waiting for Wolves next week. Is the only match that is being played in the APL, the rearranged one. And then after that, I will be looking forward to Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, then a game before, and then we'll have now the Carabao Cup final. So yes, long season ahead. Let's hope that we learn from this, but we don't necessarily learn. This is Arsenal, man. Even our rivals, or rather people are mocking us and say, why argue with an Arsenal fan, but you can just wait, which is true. If this trend continues, we are guaranteed to be in the same position when the season ends, where we don't have a single trophy. teams are mocking us. We finished second, and now we'll be watching other teams celebrating their trophies. That's why I laugh when I listen to people saying, "Oh, we should win the quadruple, we should win the treble." I just only need two trophies at this point. I need the Carabao Cup, I need the Premier League. Any other that comes, which is the FA Cup or the Champions League, I know how hard it is to win the Champions League, but either of those two are the most important titles for me to take, especially the Premier League. But since we're already now in the final in the Carabao Cup, it is important for us to go and impose ourselves. But yeah, we'll talk more on that. Of course, I'll drop one more episode before the FA Cup, and then we'll see how things goes. But yes, remember, this is Goats on Goal. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next round.